Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me? I didn't get a chance to test my microphone.
You're perfect, as
Okay. Oh,
always.
well, thank you. Thank you very much. All right.
You are perfect as always. I need to center
Do
myself
you
again.
know there is that song? Did you guys sing this as a kid? I'm perfect in every way. I can't wait to look in the mirror. I get better looking each day.
You
No?
know, I there's parts of it I remember and parts of it I don't. I don't exactly remember the tune quite like that. It almost sounded like you had the words to another song set to "Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys."
Uh, I think I'm trying to think of what year that song came out because it might be older than that song.
It might.
Anybody want to Google that?
Anybody?
Don't
Anybody?
let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
Oh,
Yeah.
Waylon and the
Oh
boys.
yeah. Well, I did watch the Country Music Awards because I wanted to see Dolly
Oh, I
and
love
Garth.
her.
Yes.
I love her. Love her, love her, love her. Yeah, there's some goodies, oldies but goodies still hanging around.
Yes, and she's just phenomenal. I even loved her movie 9 to 5. Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh, you know what? Was it just a couple months ago? It was on, and I was like, you know, I had to revisit with this because for some reason I remember this being really good. I watched it and it was still as hysterical now as it was then. Yeah. Though, and you know what? And it's pretty much that same group or that same idea that they carried over to the book club.
Yes.
Am I saying, is that the right name?
Is that the
The
right
book
name?
club, um, with Jane Fonda and the gang in there. And
Yes.
then they just did a new one. So I want to see the new one.
Ah,
I don't know what it's called. Oh, it's something about football. They all they're all football fans of something. I got
I've
that one.
seen something like it in maybe an advert, like
Mhm. Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
and
I
very
caught
funny. Yes.
just caught quick clips of it. But yeah, those women are hysterical together. So yeah, gotta see them. Did you ever watch the series? It yeah, and you know what? It was you that told me to watch it. Gracie and
Oh,
Grace
Frank
and
and Gracie, or
Frankie
Gracie
and
and
Grace.
Frank. Yes.
Grace and
Right.
Frankie.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that
Yes.
one.
Isn't that
I
hilarious?
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I was you know what? Some of those shows, I am excited that I didn't watch it. Like, I did this with Game of Thrones, and I did it with, what was that one that was a real big hit? Everybody was watching it, so because everybody was watching it, I refused to watch it. Wasn't gonna get sucked into it. That's how I was with Game of Thrones too. It
Oh,
was the one with
I never finished Game of
it was
Thrones.
that really crazy one where the people are on an island, like, there's this group of people on an island.
Survivor.
No, no, it was
That was a big
way
series.
before Survivor. No, it wasn't a reality
Oh,
show, it was
Gilligan's Island.
no, it was a little later than that. Although I love watching it too. Um, oh, I can't think of the name of it. Everybody was watching. I remember it was like everybody was talking about it, and I didn't watch it. And then
I must not have watched it either because I haven't got a clue.
I streamed it, like I think it was like 10, 20 years after it was done.
Oh,
It
so
came
long
up on
time ago.
streaming, so I watched it, and I was like,
Huh. Seven.
"This is
Fantasy Island?
no, no."
That's old too.
It was about these people, this small group of people. They were stranded on an island, but they were like in the twilight zone. So there was like somebody that was like tracking them down and stuff. And later on, there was like this secret. cave thing that people were in. It just you never really knew where it was going because it just kept shooting off in really weird angles. People were getting killed that you didn't expect to get killed. Um, oh, I'll have to think of it. Maybe one of our people can put it in the chat letter later when it replays or something. And I can't think of it. And like I said, it was just real popular, everybody. And the guy who played the main role, he was, everybody loved him. All the women were in love with them. So, but I did watch the one that you recommended, Miss Sherlock.
Oh, yes.
That was good. That
Yeah,
was good.
so I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Misty and I sat down and binged it.
I was disappointed that it was only one season.
Well, do you know how old that is? That
No,
show?
no.
The show's like 13 years old or some crazy thing. It's like really old. Misty Googled it after we were done. She's like, well, let me see if they're planning any, second
Right.
season. She's like, well, I doubt it. It's like 13 years old. And
I wouldn't have realized it watching it. It doesn't seem like
I know, but
15-year-old TV.
it's an old show. And the lead person, Miss Sherlock, she's dead.
Oh,
She died like a year or two after the show.
oh,
Suicide.
oh.
Isn't that weird? Especially finding that out right after watching the show.
Wow.
Because then it's
Yes.
like, wow, it's like it almost wrote itself, right?
Right.
It's really weird.
Right. Because that last episode, yeah, it very much, yeah. That sometimes yeah. Ha. There we go. I need some water. I'm going to tap through that one. Oh, I'm just
Yeah.
hearing this for the first time, folks.
Didn't mean
It's
didn't
not
mean to
funny
spring
Friday.
that. Sorry to spring that on you. Well, it
Oh,
was just that if you were holding out hopes for a second season,
I was.
those are like long
I
gone.
thought it was
Any hope
really
of it is
recent. Oh, so
no.
they do have a Miss S also on that, and it's another theme on Sherlock. Um, Dag Nabbit. I'm still wait. I had a thought to go with that, and it just left my head. I'm still
It's
stuck in the fact that Miss Sherlock has passed on.
take a deep breath. Refocus. You're good. You're good. You're good. Get
Ah,
on to bigger and better
to
things.
find intelligent thinking TV. That's the thing, and then
Yeah,
you
that
know,
was HBO Asia.
yeah.
Asian? Yeah, because that was Japanese.
Oh, I know. They have a Miss S. Have you ever watched Miss Fisher? She's like the perhaps England somewhere European version of Miss S, but they're both these detectives that are independent women of their time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I'll keep
but
my ears.
they incorporate that like romance part where you're like, in fact, I'm wondering if there's going to be singing and dancing coming up because they have the
Oh
previews.
my
They're
goodness.
very long previews with
Is it
the
on HBO?
shows. Yes, it's like
Again, yeah, I don't have
that.
HBO, so
Oh, that okay. Well, next time you can binge it.
yeah, in fact, the way we binged it at Shelby's was, he was gonna be out of town for the day,
Right.
and he was like, "Can you check in on Nelson? Feed him and potty him and stuff," and I was like, "Okay," and so I said to Misty, I said, "You
Keep
wanna
company for a
let's
little
keep
bit.
him company while we watch this thing." Well, Shelby wasn't supposed to get back till later. He said later, and he got back by, like, 8. He said his words were, I'm not gonna be back till late." I was thinking late, but he got back by 8.
So did
He walks in and we're sitting there, we got our feet up, we're watching, got a bucket of KFC going. He's like, "Well, What's going on?" Nelson's crashed out, he's
Right.
around
We wanted to make sure he was sleeping properly, you know?
like we're visiting. So he watched the end of it with us. He watched the last couple episodes with
Yeah.
us.
Krista got Michael a BritBox for his birthday. Um,
Oh,
and they have a lot of gardening shows, but they also
what's
have
BritBox?
BritBox is like the British television,
Oh, like it's a
like
channel
a
or
channel. Yes.
oh, okay.
So she
What's it
bought that for his birthday present.
what's it streamed through? It's a streaming thing on its own
It,
or
it comes through the internet, the TV, my Fire Stick, Prime. I don't know. It's on my TV as a choice, as an app.
am I gonna have to Google this to find out what BritBox is and how I can check it out because I love British TV.
Oh, they have all the oldie goodie ones like that I used to watch with my folks. Like that was like our
Okay.
tradition. And Krista grew up like sleeping on the front of the floor and in front of, like as time goes on and keeping up
You didn't let her watch
appearances.
Benny Hill and stuff, did you?
Oh, yes,
Oh
Benny
my god.
Hill, classic. That's like so inappropriate now. I'd
I
probably,
know. That's what I'm thinking. Your
yeah,
child watched
right. See, now we have an understanding of why they're going, that's not right.
so,
I grew up with and Monty Python. Oh my god, who doesn't love
oh,
Monty
yeah. Yeah.
Python?
Yeah.
Oh, the
That's
horse.
classic. That goes on yeah, the coconuts. But where did they get the coconuts?
Right?
The African swallow,
From
right?
from the trip to the Holy Land for the crusade.
Oh
I
my goodness, yeah. And like right now, we're streaming,
right. Oh,
we're
sorry.
using YouTube and we're doing whenever we see the rabbit, it's the rabbit.
Oh my god.
The rabbit. We, watch Taskmaster on YouTube.
What is that?
It's, oh, I thought I told you. It's funny. You know Greg Davies? Okay,
If I see his
Shelby
face, I might. I'm not so good unless,
Shelby remembers him
name
from,
tags.
what show was he in? One of these old shows that Shelby really likes. It's, oh, shoot, it's the I'm, like, drawing blanks, and it's crazy. I did that with Tamara the other night. She came to my class, the discussion group Monday, and I was like, because 'cause I've heard you go to other people's I feel like I'm such in the sanctum now that, that inner sanctum now that Tamara's shown up and tomorrow. And so yeah, she mentioned somebody and I drew the biggest blank. I'm like, who are you talking about? And she's like, she's been on spiritual communities classrooms and everything. She's been there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it was the craziest thing. There was just like the biggest black. And then just the other day, I was like, all of a sudden it went boom. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did I not remember? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was beyond, I just couldn't remember.
Right.
It was
It was
beyond that.
just
It was this complete,
the curtain was
I
down.
couldn't go there. Couldn't go there at all. Couldn't, not at all. And I was like, wow. This is not that where I'm going,
Well,
gosh
I was
darn it,
gonna
what's
say
the
to
name of
you,
those movies that
this maybe it'll stir your brain because did you see where she did put up the two anoles?
she did. She did. She brought that up too. I said, "I saw it." I commented and everything
Yeah.
because yes, she found it. She found it and posted it. Thank you, Tamara. She's
It's
such a
so funny.
sweetie.
I love
She's
her
so sweet.
smile. She's such
Yeah,
yes.
she is. She's fun. She's
Mm.
sweet. Um,
So,
So, anyway, so Greg Davies is like the host, but it's written by his sidekick, which I'm not good. I've told you before, I'm really not good with names. So anyway, his sidekick's the one that actually writes the whole show. And what they do is they bring on comedians, like a group of comedians, 4 or 5 of them, and then they give them tasks to do.
Oh,
And
okay. I've got to look at that. I'm going to write
and
it
it's
down. I'll
hysterical
send
because
myself.
they make them do just crazy, weird stuff, just crazy, weird stuff. And it's
Taskmaster.
funny to see how people's brains work when they're put into a situation where, like, I got to, they had to put, like, the most recent season, their task was they had to put on flippers, when you swim, the flippers,
Right?
foot flippers, had to put them on their hands. And then there was this perfectly made, how when you put flour into a container, you can make it like a sandcastle kind of thing, you
Hmm.
know? So they did that with the flour. And the task was they had to find 5 different olives. So, and they had to keep those things on their hands. So they immediately, and they had to find 5 olives, and if the person with the most flour still on the plate won. So it kinda sets them up for digging into the pile of flour, right?
Right.
Well, but as the task goes on, you see that there are olives all over the room. They didn't have to dig in the flour at all. And then how some of them even come at it is just it's funny, it's funny.
Okay.
I
I'm gonna.
think they're in their 7th, maybe it's I wanna say their 7th season, and it's being copied in some other,
Oh,
countries.
I saw season like 15 or something. I brought it up
It
on.
could. It
Um,
could be that many. I was gonna
I
say
looked it up,
13, but I was
so
like,
I have it up later. I'm gonna look at it. That way I don't forget. Because I thought I had a paper and a pen here, but I do not. This is what happens when you clean up. Ugh.
yeah, you clean, can't find a thing. Yep.
Oh, I'm
So,
tired.
yeah, Taskmaster, it's hysterical. Greg Davies he's a huge guy. The guy's gotta be 7 feet tall, all right?
Okay.
And his sidekick is, like, easy 6 foot. So he's, like, dwarfed when he stands next to Greg Davies, and Greg Davies just pulls off the whole taskmaster persona through it. It's hysterical because what they do is they film all these, and then what they do is for the show, they air it where they're showing the cuts, where, okay, so for this task, they had to do this, and this is what happened. And then they run them. So they run through the whole thing that they did. Um, yeah, like a day.
I'm gonna
A
watch it.
day. Yeah.
I will report.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's hysterical. Misty's got her boyfriend in Korea. He's hooked. The other countries are funny too,
I saw
but
one
not
from
so much.
Australia, but I didn't see other than that.
They're funny, but not as much. I mean, they're funny, but they don't have anything on Greg Davies. And those other ones are funny too from the standpoint of you think English is English, right?
Yes.
Until you hear a Kiwi.
Yes, that's the thing with the BritBox is the different areas, and then they do have like um, islands shows wherever they
Mhm.
were, which is everywhere. So,
Right? Yeah, they'll have it seems like they always have in their grouping, they'll have, like an American, they'll have, someone from another country, like a Middle Eastern type, um, and then they'll have some women, men, and then they'll inadvertently have someone from Ireland, and they're funny. It's funny to hear them do the task. No way. No way. So, yeah. Oh, I could go on, but I won't.
okay,
I'll have to revisit with some of those. Those
I
are good.
I will
Those are
I
always good
will
for a
watch
laugh.
it and I will report back to everybody next Friday. We'll have a Taskmaster report.
Yes. And I'm just going to throw out there, folks, if you're popping on here and going, what the heck are these two women about? You have to laugh more in your life. It's been proven that if you can figure out a way to get your giggles, your shits and giggles, every day, your health improves, your days improve. You just really need to find something that makes you laugh. And that's kind of what we're sharing with you here. And that's what I'm sharing with her about Taskmaster.
Well, and we came up with the whole idea because every time we did get together, we would laugh so much.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so that's just the good part about it
Yeah.
all.
We keep it kind of tame when we're on here, but there's times you make me want to pee myself. You get so crazy. You are such you know what? I think because the camera kind of tones us down. But oh my gosh, I know even when we get off of here, we just start
It is true. What is that? There's an exercise you should do when you get up and smile in the mirror for 1 minute, right? That's one of those exercises.
That's good
Yeah.
exercise. You use less facial muscles smiling than you do frowning. Did you know
This, this,
that? We got
this I
more.
know, but
We
this is,
got
I think,
more.
is part looking at stuff now. It's like, what was that?
Huh?
Ah,
I'm trying to think. I'm still trying to think of that show that Shelby said Greg Davies was from. It's been 30 years probably. It was the band camp one. Remember the band? I don't think I ever watched it, but it was a guy flick where, you know, it was a bunch of teenagers. They all go to band camp, and you know what happens at band camp.
I don't think I've
That's
ever seen
well,
that.
that's the running joke of the whole thing is this one girl's like, "One time at band camp."
Okay.
What you know what? I bet if I look him up,
What was his name?
Greg Davies.
Hold on. Greg Davies, history.
Do, do, do. Hmm.
Taskmaster. He's in another one, The Cleaner. That's on HBO, I think. Or it's on, let me see where that is.
I saw he did a stand-up
Very
routine
dark,
too.
dark, yeah.
He did a stand-up routine too that oh my gosh. I was gonna wet myself on that one too. The guy's crazy. He is a nut. He really is.
Okay.
He's Welsh.
So it might be, The Cleaner is a new show he's in. It's either HBO or BritBox. I'll find
Okay.
out.
Let me know.
But I did start to watch it, and then I was like, oh, it's a little bit gory.
They're only showing his
He's cleaning up
TV show.
crime scenes,
Oh.
murder scenes. He's a cleaner,
Oh. Does he
but
play
it's very comic.
I
Like
was gonna ask, does he play a comedic role in that?
yes, it's yeah, it's
Greg Davies movies. They only keep showing TV
The
shows. Oh,
Clan something I saw.
you know what? I'm gonna have to tell Shelby, I think he is misspeaking when he says this guy is in this other show because you know what? It's not coming up. And it was a popular movie. So if he was in it, he would definitely have this on here, I would think.
Hmm.
Well, I'm just
Yes, because I did try to find the most popular things, and I didn't see something I recognized.
yeah. Yeah, it was an American flick. I will have to. Huh, the cleaner is
That's the one.
on.
That's the one I was telling you is new.
Yeah, I was going to see where it's playing. The cleaner. The cleaner. Streaming. See where to watch. It's not showing. It's showing anywhere. It
Oh,
must be on your BritBox.
it could be the cleaner.
Huh. Interesting. I will have to look into this because I like to keep my eyeballs open
There's
for
two.
new
Yes,
shows.
yes. It okay. I do see. Watch now subscription BritBox.
Okay, I'll have to check that out if he's got a show on there, and yeah, I would believe it. It's pretty good because he's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he So here's the thing: we just finished binging, um, on Netflix, a Asian or a Korean drama, not dubbed. so so for 3 nights, I couldn't really get
Got
much
to read.
Shane done because I was doing a lot of reading. But
Yeah.
we watched it because the name of it was Misty.
Oh,
So we were like, well, let's see what Misty is all about. So we watched this thing, and we're on the last 2 episodes. Shelby shows up with ice cream, and we're like, we're on the last 2 episodes, so you just gotta eat your ice cream and let us finish watching this. And so he's watching it. He's like, how come Misty's name keeps showing up on every time you pause it? It's like it's the name of the movie. And he's like, oh. And so we're watching into the show. So we get done. There is not a Misty. There's the word's not used. No one's named it. Nothing. Nothing. We even Googled what's the significance of that title. There isn't one.
the weather wasn't misty.
There was some fog at the end, but it was definitely fog, not misty.
Not misty.
So we're like, that's really weird.
Was it any good? Was it worth how many hours?
I've learned a new phrase that you put on a movie or drama. It's a slow burn.
Okay. So,
Misty would say it was extremely slow burn,
oh, okay.
where it just, but it's, the reason I'm hooked on K dramas is because they cram so much in one episode, and each episode kind of twists the storyline to where you have to watch the next one because you don't know what's going on. And this one just really it was a slow burn. The way they did it is they only gave you bits and pieces of the actual story. And so each episode would take that bit and then a new bit would drop in, and then it went and it just, yeah. Yeah. It was interesting. I liked it. Misty didn't care for it. She doesn't like those kind of endings. The ending that it had, she didn't like that ending.
Okay. All right.
She likes her endings tied with a bow. And that was where she was with Miss Sherlock. She's like, she was good as long as, but at that last 2 seconds where they show somebody walking was enough
Right.
to undo the bow.
But I expected that because of the storyline of Sherlock when he jumps off the building. You don't remember that? Okay.
Oh, from this show? Not from Sherlock, but from this show. Yeah, I remember.
Like from the whole Moriarty type thing.
Yeah, but I didn't know the real Sherlock jumped out. Did the real Sherlock, the original story, the original Sherlock, did he jump off of a building? I don't remember him jumping off of a building.
That's Superman leaping tall buildings, single down.
Hey, I'm watching Josh Gates too when I do my walking in the morning, and they're doing the thing on DB Cooper.
Oh yeah.
And a little trivia, Cooper, it wasn't DB Cooper, it was Dan Cooper. Okay, was the guy's name. And Dan Cooper was the name of a comic strip hero, specifically to Europe and Canada. So, and in that, the superhero was always jumping out of planes, which is what DB Cooper supposedly did with his big wad of money he commandeered. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Jumping out of planes, Superman flying. That's where my head went.
I think it's important to look around every day when we walk the dog. I look in the ditch. You just never know. Somebody might have dropped something out of a plane, and I would be like, hey.
Yeah, you know what? Way long time ago, it's probably been almost 30 years. Shelby's out driving. I forget where it was, Pine Island or Fort Myers, somewhere. And it was on one of the back roads where, it wasn't like on 41 or anything. So he's out driving along and he says he sees this package on the side of the road and it like gets his attention, but then he's like, I'm not turning around. Cause sometimes he'll turn around to, see what's what, and so he didn't. And then like 2 days later, it turned out this package was money from some heist. There was like millions of dollars in this package. So I was like, damn it. then that raises the dilemma of would you have turned it in?
Yeah, there is the dilemma.
Because I would have been my dilemma would have been that they knew what serial numbers were on the money. That would have been my dilemma.
Yes. But if you keep it 30, 40 years.
I don't think there's a statute of limitations.
And you travel overseas. Although now it probably would have been better to spend it back then, because Mike and I were talking about that, about I don't even know what the conversation was, when you're out walking the dog, but about how there's cameras everywhere. Like it's not this, like,
right.
I forget what the conversation was, but I am thankful growing up there wasn't a camera on everyone's phone. We didn't even have phones except the ones attached to the kitchen wall.
I know. I have to remind Misty. Sometimes I'll tell her a story and she'll be like, well, why didn't you I'm like, no phone. No phone. We had no phones.
No phone.
No phones. If you were stuck on the side of the road, you were stuck on the side of the road. You weren't going anywhere.
It is so true. So true. Oh my gosh, yes. I did post a picture, and this is back when I lived in the Grove in the 80s, and I was cutting some flowers to go in a vase, but I was on the phone and I'm like, can you spot the artifact? And I had my, how you used to have to go like this and
I tried to do that early on with my, when they came with cell phones, and I realized I couldn't really do that properly, so I gave up on it.
They used to be like bricks. That would be like,
it didn't matter. I think it's my neck. I can't quite.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Do it.
Probably all the better for you. All the better for you. Because
I
remember when I was a receptionist someplace, they didn't have the headset. So they went and got one of those things that like went over your shoulder, and it had a thing, and then it had a thing to hold the phone. So So you only had to
That
go
must
like
have been pretty.
this instead of like
Well,
this.
I used to have the big foamy thing you would stick on it. Remember they had the big foamy thing that you would stick on the handle so that it would raise it up so you could walk around with your phone, although you couldn't walk very far, but
If you got the
you would have
really
to stick
long
your
cord,
phone.
you could take it around the corner and we could stand on the first platform of the basement stairs with the door shut or the bathroom. So yeah, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
We got yelled at for stretching the cord out to the
Yes.
point that it
Because
didn't coil properly anymore.
ever again.
It was like, "Oh, the world's ending. The cord
Yeah.
doesn't coil."
It'd be like, yeah, it stretched out so much it would hit the floor and then you'd have to like put it up over
Yeah,
the
'cause I've got that picture in my head too. Because we had a basement because we were up in Michigan, and yeah, you'd be on the phone, and the phone was in the kitchen, and you could get down and around the landing and down the stairs. Yeah, you could sit down on the stairs and towards the basement. It was the only way you were gonna get any privacy. Yeah.
yes. My
With your party line.
Oh, see, we didn't have one because my father worked for a company that was they had a government contract. So they paid for his our phone line. But I was fascinated going up to the neighbors because I never knew what a party line was. And
Yeah, we didn't have one for long, but I remember we were real young, and I do remember for a brief period of time there was a party line. And then,
and the people on the line knew who would pick the phone up by the kind of click it was. And they'd be like, all right, Mary, get off the phone now.
get the phone. Or you'd get on. I remember you'd get on, you'd be like, all right, it's time for you to get off. I've been waiting a half an hour and I got to make a phone call.
That's where when we lived kind of in the country, and I think I got a very demonstrative voice because my neighbors, we could never get them on the phone. So we'd go outside and we'd yell back and forth. And the house was up the hill, maybe a half a mile or so.
Remember when you had phones like that, you were able to make calls. It was right before they introduced um, star 69. When you had the rotary dials, you were
And
able to
nobody knew.
do those prank
Prank
calls.
calls.
Prank calls were funny.
Do you have Sir Walter Riley in a can? That-
Gotta let 'em out. Is your refrigerator running?
oh, we thought we were brilliant. Oh my God, that's so funny.
And then there was the pipeline. Do you remember the pipeline?
No.
Oh, yeah, the pipeline. There was this, number you would dial, or it was a piece of a number. You would dial it, and it would go into this, like, huge party line where it made this weird echoey noise. It would be like, "Wah, wah, wah, wah," but you could hear people talking, so everybody would get on there, and it was like the part I'm trying to equate it to what's going like a chat room. It's like a chat room nowadays. It was the chat room, but it had
Oh,
that funky noise, but everybody would get on there and be like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're an idiot." 'Cause nobody would know who you were. They
right.
didn't know where you were at.
I did see a video of a man telling his kids they couldn't use Google or anything. And he brought out an old rotary phone and he goes, you'll each get $20 if you can figure out how this works. And
I know. I know. I see those rotary phones, and I told him, I said, the worst thing is when you got to the last number and you dialed the wrong number, or
yeah,
somehow you misdialed it. It's like sometimes, if it was like a 8 or a 9 and you had to go all the way around, sometimes your finger would pop
right,
out, and,
right.
and you were like, oh, I got to start all over, and you'd have to hang up.
Uh, and I was just talking, my friend Erica that was here visiting, we were talking about when she first moved back over to Switzerland, you'd have to wait for a certain time of night to call because
Oh,
rates were so much cheaper. Do you remember that? Like,
I remember when not so much the long distance international, excuse me, international, oh, not international, but, long distance, just we weren't allowed to do long distance. Oh my gosh, my mom would kill us if we did long distance. But, I
or
do
even
remember
the
you
cell
could get
phones when they
charged for
first
every
came out.
call. Huh?
The cell phones when they first came out, it was cheaper to call after 10 p.m.
Yeah, because you had to pay. I
Right.
remember that it was like, what was it, 10 cents a call or 5 cents a call and all that crazy stuff. Yeah.
All to stay in contact.
My mom bought a lock and put it on the phone because you could buy locks for the rotary phones. We had
Oh,
because we had a rotary phone, so you could buy a lock that would go into the rotary and you couldn't spin it.
wow. Okay. No, we never did have that. I'll have to think back as to why.
You
Was it
had to
because
you had to
the
have a
fear of
crazy
God was already in us?
well, no, well, you just had to have a crazy mom. You had to have a crazy mom.
Uh,
Yeah,
that's
but that's
funny.
okay.
Yeah, all those things.
Because it
Well,
makes
now
for
I
good
guess
stories, right?
you can put locks on certain channels and things like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Parental
told Misty the other
control.
day, she said something to me, and I was like, "You better be nice to me." She goes, "Why? What are you gonna do?" I said, "I can turn off your internet." And she, like, looked at me. I said, "That's right." I picked up my phone. "I can turn it off for only your devices." And she was like I'm like, "I can." I have the power. So now I'm the crazy mom.
Hey, you know,
Yeah.
it's those heredity gifts. Heredity gifts. Did I say that right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Your DNA.
Those generational gifts that keep on giving. There you go.
Shared DNA.
There you go. Yes.
I wanna I have a few what do they call them? Strands. I have a few strands I'd like to have removed.
Could we just, yeah, mix the coding up there a little bit?
Well, when you give me my next whatever, my next shot or whatever, could you make it so that it flips off a couple other DNA things?
Oh, sorry. Wowzer. It's getting dark here, but we're not supposed to get any rain.
Yeah, it's been kinda hazy today over here.
Yeah.
No blues. I mean, it's blue, but it's not that brilliant blue we usually get. It's kind of hazy.
It's the humidity blue.
Is it?
Yeah, that misty kind of day.
It's really windy out there.
Is it?
That's where,
It's not
that's
over
where she
here.
got her name. Her name was because of the how misty it is. When we lived out in the estates, there was nothing prettier than in the back by the pine trees, there'd be a
Yeah.
mist, you could
Yes.
see the mist in it. And so, yeah, we called the place Misty Pines. And then when we had her, Misty.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Yay. Yeah, it is beautiful here in the I'm glad that I'm not on the road during those times.
Yeah.
But because there's times we go out and we can't see even the house across the street from us.
Yeah. What's really crazy are those fog. There's a name for them when they're like a big fog bank and they roll off the water in inland. Because I remember one time, actually, it's been a few times, where we've driven from like North Naples out by Collier and driven in towards the water, right? And when we'd hit 41, it was like a curtain. You could see it as you were coming up to it. Sometimes you could see the rain
Right.
as you're driving up to it. Well, this was like a big fog cloud. You could see it up there. And as you got closer and closer, you could see it. And then the next thing you knew, you were in it. And it was like, oh, wow. And then it was really dense and thick everywhere as long as you were in that spot, but you could drive out of it, you know, pretty
That's wild.
readily.
I did see something on the internet. It was right off the Sahara, right off of the coast of Africa, and it was a sandstorm came up over a ship, and it
Wow.
the you know how they have the camera, so you see the bow
Right.
always. You could just see that. I was like, no wonder people would be like, "What do you do if you're
That's
out
why
there?"
they wear their those wraps.
Right.
Why they have those the things around the
It
scarves
just you
around their
couldn't
neck.
even see. It was just like a wall of it was and just like you'd see the ocean, that's what the
That's
sand looks
scary,
like.
isn't it? Because I mean, you
Yes.
think about it, sand isn't as
Yeah.
breathable as fog.
Right. Right. Fog just, yay. On a windy day, even on the beach, it's like, wow, I didn't ask for exfoliation. And I thought that,
Well, that's a thing I didn't know, and I realized with watching, the K-dramas that, they have, that same sand that blows off of Africa blows into Asia, and they have actual sand, like sand days. They've got a name for it when their air is not breathable because there's so much dust particles, sand particles in the air.
wow. Yeah. I could imagine that. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, we think when we get our periodic smoke or whatever blowing through from fires and stuff, they've got sand, which
Right.
that's gotta muck things up, you would think. Get some gears and equipment, and you would think and driving your car, you probably sandblast your paint job.
Right. And it would get into all your gears and your,
Yeah, yeah.
well, Florida's looking better and better.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna say
Nice,
maybe
misty
we should.
kind of day.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we should end here and ponder what we've thought of
All
today.
right. Yes.
Consider those deep thoughts we've had today.
And we'll report back with Taskmaster and
Yeah, I wanna see what you have to say about Taskmaster because I think you guys all find it really funny, you and Michael. I think you'll have
we have a good
giggles.
sense of humor. We'll like it. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, that British humor is hysterical. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to stop and go, "Ouch."
Right.
Ouch. I forgot to put on my thick skin for this show. Well, bye, everybody. This was Gwen Peterson. That's Denise Flood to my side. And you can reach both of us through spiritualcommunitiesnetwork.com or deniseflood.com or insightsilluminations.com, or you can hit that little QR code. Makes it really easy. Watch us on our YouTube channel as well. We have everything archived there. And I was looking at the YouTube channel analytics, and people are watching us. Go go figure, Denise.
I just think that everybody needs a little bit of silly, and I am happy to provide silly with my you,
I
with
think
my
sometimes
you.
I think they sometimes get on there and go, "What the?"
I told you I listen to it when I'm doing stuff, and it cracks me up. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right?
Ah, okay.
Oh my goodness. Let me end here by saying bye, everybody. Love y'all.
Love y'all.